Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Higher Moment Mastermind. I'm Shira Lotzar. Happy to be your host for our session today, joined by Vern Schellinger. And normally we're joined by Alki Thompson. Not sure if he'll be able to be with us today. So we are an open Q&A for job seekers, for all professional job seekers. We are here to answer questions that you might have. I am a recruiter and a career coach. Vern is a former HR executive and career coach, and Alki, who normally joins us, is a recruiter. So we have a pretty wide perspective around the job search world, hiring trends, all of these things. And so we create this opportunity here every other week for folks to get whatever questions answered that we can. What we've also been doing in the last number of months is, time permitting, toward the end, we will possibly break you all out into small breakout rooms to do some networking with each other. Of course, we have a very diverse crowd, as you might imagine. People are from every sector, every profession, but we do our best to kind of pair people up so you can do some networking and open up your LinkedIn contacts and possibly share some leads with each other. So we really want to make this not only practical around advice, but also around helping you all network, right? Because networking is the thing. And Vern and Alki and I are constantly talking about that. That is the way that people get jobs these days. The job boards are extremely ineffective. The last stat that we've heard is that only, and this is not an exaggeration, that only 3% of online applications result in a hire these days. A lot of reasons for that. It's do it, read anywhere, everything from just the flood of the market to AI is creating either not chatbots, fake resumes that are out there. I mean, it's just absolutely a deluge, and employers just don't know how to deal with it. And so sometimes they'll post a job and they'll get hundreds of applications within the first 30 minutes, and they'll take it down. And it's a challenge. So we are always, 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 always promoting networking strategies for folks to get noticed. In fact, Mark and I have had an offline chat about that, where actually myself and Vern knew an individual at another organization. He heard about the opportunity, got him hooked up. Unfortunately, it was a little too late because they already had their slate, but we were able to hook him in just because we happen to have a connection there, and this internal person, what we call an internal champion, was able to make a recommendation. So there are so many ways to do this, but we just really emphasize networking as the route. So with all that as preamble, we are here to answer your job search questions. So Tim, Molly, Vicky, John Tavius, Mark, we are here to help you in any way we can. So feel free to let us know what kind of questions you have on any topic. It could be resumes, interviewing, salary, job boards, whatever. We'll do what we can. Tim, you kind of look like you're itching to ask a question.
Oh, maybe I'm just excited
Put you on
because
the
I have
spot.
a recruiter screening call later today.
Okay. Do you have a question about that?
I guess I guess I do. I need to. I'm a recently retired federal employee. Today's my first business day as a retiree.
Wow. Congratulations.
So I'm historically bad at networking because that's not how you get a job in the federal government.
Yeah.
When I've gotten my LinkedIn profile to a place where I've actually had one a month, the last couple of months, recruiters come to me with a job that is significantly higher in salary than what I'm finding on my own. Um, the so how do I get out there, meet people, and find the jobs that seem to be finding me?
Yeah, it's a big question, right?
Yeah.
Not an easy answer. So
No.
I'll I'll jump in with some concepts, and Vern will as well. And Vern is an expert networker. In fact, the business he has, you'll see in his background, says contacts count. It's actually about networking and making meaningful connections. What I'm going to do is I have lots of metaphors that I use, one of which is fishing. I have a fishing metaphor around this, and it has to do with the fish that you're going after and the ponds that they are swimming in. Okay. So this is a bigger conversation than even what we can handle today, because Tim, of course, you as everybody does, has a unique, right, situation. What I like to say is that you need to be tasty bait for the right fish. Okay. Which means that you need to understand that that employers are looking for you to solve certain kinds of problems, which means you have to understand the sector or sectors that you are most appropriate for. In other words, the sectors that they come from, where they say, hey, you're from our space, you get us. I call that community. And then that you also are in the right lane. And the lane is the what you do, right? Because employers are, we say this all the time here, employers are always, 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 always trying to mitigate their risk in the hire. Hires are very, very risky for employers, always. And so to the extent that you can do what they need you to do and have the industry or sectoral experience, and for folks in the federal government, that could mean flipping to the other side. So may I ask what agency you came from recently?
Interior.
Interior. Oh,
Budget analyst, office of the secretary. So 237 different offices, just formulation. I've been a budget officer, so I've had budget formulation,
okay.
execution
So your lane
responsibilities.
is actually what you'd be leading with, meaning the budgeting, right? Kind of lane.
FP&A, but yes, in the private sector.
Right. So you would be your goal, right? In particular, I believe, without only knowing that one sentence, um, would be to find individuals who are SMEs, right, or specialists in that particular lane. And one of the things that we always have to remember is that every sector looks at lanes differently. So, for example, for someone like you, Tim, you're a budget guy, big budgets, right? Which means that probably the equivalent is going to be in the larger corporate sector where they have budget, right? Like people who specialize in budgets, which is very different, for example, than, I mean, it's almost silly to even say it, but a small organization where they don't have a budget person. They barely have a director of finance or an accountant, right? Who's handling everything. So the smaller the organization, this person, hold on one moment, please. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. In fact, I'm just going to press pause here. Vicky, would you kindly open up your video and let us know who you are so we can make sure that you're appropriate for this meeting?
Oh, sorry, I just got up.
Uh,
uh,
can you share with us what brought you here?
yeah, I'm here.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah. How did you find our group
Oh, a meetup.
and Meetup? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Happy to have you. Okay. So in any event, so when it comes to figuring out, right, your fish, think about the size of the organization, think about where your role fits in, right? Right now, for example, I'm working on I'm a recruiter, I mentioned, and I'm working on a vice president of finance and operations search for a small trade association. Trade associations are nonprofits. They work in a very particular way, much slower pace than the corporate sector. Well, I had somebody who saw my posting, and this is a gentleman from the corporate sector who is in investments and all these different things, and he wanted to apply for the role. I took one look at his resume, and I knew immediately that he would find this role very frustrating because of the environment that he'd be stepping into, which he was not aware of, because he looked at the name of the organization. He thought, oh, no big deal. But the reality is they move at a snail's pace compared to where he comes from. So I immediately knew this would not be a fit, right? And let him know that. My point is that your job is to figure this out first. Now, once you figure out who your fish are, then Tim, to your question of, well, where do you find them? Well, there are many places to find them. Number one is on LinkedIn. And when I say LinkedIn, I don't mean the job boards, not LinkedIn's job board. They have a little button for that, not that. Because those publicly posted jobs on the job boards are, like, as I mentioned earlier, so flooded. So your chances of getting seen are but this big, okay? You need to be proactive. So one of the things that I recommend people do when you go to LinkedIn is to go to the search bar and use LinkedIn as a database. Use LinkedIn as a database. LinkedIn is a database. Okay. And so you're gonna go into the search bar and you're gonna start putting in keywords. So for example, for someone like you, Tim, literally I would put in the word budget. Now, why would I do that? Because when LinkedIn's algorithm is designed to pull, first and foremost, pull up people based upon whatever is in that person's career headline, whatever's in that person's career headline. So if Tim, if you have colleagues out there who are also budget SMEs like you, chances are in their career headline, right underneath their name, it's going to have the word budget in there because that's their title of some sort, just like you're a budget analyst, that kind of thing. And so what your job is to do is to go find the people, ready? Find the people who do what you do because they are not your competitors, they're your competimates. These are people who will likely hear about opportunities that are not right for them, but could be right for you. If you were in marketing, I'd ask you to put in marketing or B2B marketing or B2C marketing or digital marketing or whatever the thing is. You got to think about what is the title that you go by. Go find those people, network with those people. They will then hopefully be able to lead you to opportunities, number one. Number two, recruiters. So their whole recruiter world is a whole other conversation that we don't have time for today. But what I will say about recruiters is that third-party recruiters, people who are just out, who are not internal recruiters, but external, they often have specialty areas. So for example, for someone like you, there are recruiters who specialize in finance and accounting. Budget, of course, falls underneath there. If you literally type in the search bar in LinkedIn, recruiter, like finance recruiter or accounting recruiter, something like that, you'll probably come up with a whole laundry list of people who do that. You can start linking in with those people. Okay. Most recruiters will accept random invitations for people who are in their lane or in their sector. Some recruiters, like myself, I'm sectorally based. I mostly recruit for trade associations. And so I'm an association recruiter, so I will connect in with people who are in the association community. Makes sense? And then a third way, actually, speaking of associations, is to go find your association. There's sorry, being fuzzy here. There is an association for everything. Okay. Association for absolutely everything. And so you want to find the people, the associations that are in your lane or in your community. Because again, you want to hang out with the people who do what you do so they can refer positions that are not right for them, but could be right for you. Does that make sense? So those are three different ways. So I'm going to press pause here. So Vern, love to hear your thoughts for Tim.
Okay. So Tim, how would you describe your network right now? I mean, you said, how do I get out there? Obviously, maybe it's not a big network, but who are some of the people in your network right now?
I'm trying to, I consider it in progress because it takes time to build a network,
Yes,
a warm network.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
Well,
I've got like the big government contracting companies. Those are the most likely places where I'll end up. But unfortunately, with the way the government's set up right now, even they're shrinking.
yeah.
So I've got contacts that will advocate for me if and when roles do open up.
Okay. So you do have some contacts who will advocate for you. Why do you think they will advocate for you? How did you get to know them? How did they become your advocate? Was it
Two,
someone you
one
worked?
I worked with directly. Yeah, I'm sorry, Vern, you're cutting in and out. I think it's my internet.
Okay.
Can
Well,
you say that again?
what I'm trying to have you recognize is that if you have an advocate, if you have someone who can speak about who you are, what you do, how well you do it, I mean, that is networking. That's what, as Shira said, Shira, Elke, and I are talking about this all the time. So I want you to think about how did that come about? So if it was someone you worked with, right, and you saw them every day and you had conversations, you got to know them as a person, they got to know you as a person, they got to know, your skills, your abilities. And so what you need to do in terms of the job search process is start to try to find opportunities where you can begin to build those types of relationships with other people. So as Shira said, so if you go to um, you find the Association for Budget and Finance, and you go to a meeting that they're having. As you go to that meeting, you're going to meet people who do what you do. The most important thing that we do at Contacts Count is to get individuals to think about networking differently. And when I say think about networking differently, think about every conversation that you might have and go into that conversation focused on where are the opportunities for me to teach this person something about who I am and what I'm all about? And where are the opportunities for me to learn those same things about them? Because if it becomes all about you and you're just talking about you and talking about you and talking about you, somebody at the other end of the conversation is going to say, "Wow, I can't get a word in here edgewise." Um, and so think about teaching and giving. Where are the opportunities for you to teach somebody? And the more people that you teach, and the more people that get to begin to know you well, the more likely they can connect you to an actual opportunity, maybe connect you to someone in their network who's in your field. And it's just a lot of conversations, and it takes a lot of time. But at the end result, Cher and I know a number of people who have gotten jobs from the hidden job market. And if you don't know about the hidden job market, there are a lot of jobs that are never posted
Like
anywhere.
80% of jobs are never
Yeah.
posted on the job boards.
And so the only way you find out about those jobs is someone in your network finds out about them somehow, and they call you and say, "Hey, Tim, I just heard about this opportunity with the ABC Association. It sounds like a perfect fit for you. Are you interested?" And then they make an introduction to you to someone in that organization, and you interview for the job. So and so there's an example of an outcome from networking that only can be available to you through your network. So that's the importance of building a network. Um, so let me pause there. And questions, comments,
Makes sense,
thoughts?
Tim?
It does. I'm just trying to figure out how I get myself out there. Like, go to Fairfax. I just bought a car a week ago, well, on Saturday. Uh, so get to Fairfax Coffee once or twice a week, things like that.
Yeah.
So Tim, here's what I would say about that, and that's fine. You get out there, meet people, all the things. What we want to make sure that we emphasize here is that you want to maximize your networking time.
Yeah.
The people that you network with, the closer those people are to what you do and who you do it for, the more likely it is that they're going to be able to refer you the right opportunities. Now, certainly you can meet random people and you never know. Talk to everybody, talk to people in the grocery store. You never, never know
No.
for
Yeah.
sure. Please do. But also know that if you're going to maximize your time, be very intentional. Find the people in your lane, find the people in your community, use LinkedIn, use the associations. And what I would also do, Tim, is call your colleagues, the people who you do know, who do what you do, ask them who they know. Who are the people in their network? And in fact, with LinkedIn, one of the things you can do, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for a second and uh, let you know that um, when you go to LinkedIn and you have a first level contact, right? So let's say I'm gonna go ahead and look. I'm gonna pull up Vern, okay? Because we'll just do that as a concept here. When you have a first level contact, you can do what I call, here's the fishing analogy again. You can do what I call deep sea fishing into their first level contacts. So here's Vern and I, because we are first levels, okay? I can click on his connections. Now, I can only do this if his connections are blue. If they're black, I can't because I would have meant that he would have closed them, but they're blue. So I can click on them and here are his connections, right? And then when I'm in that search, I can go in here and into his, into the search bar. And I can say, I don't know, making this up because he, like me, Vern's in the HR community. So let's say that I'm looking for somebody who's I don't know, a payroll professional, because there are such things. All right, so I typed in payroll and here we go. Sarah, VP HR, payroll, people and culture. Okay, so I'm going to find people, right, who are in the payroll world because I put in that search. If I put in a recruiter, for example, because I know that Vern has a lot of recruiters in his network. Talent acquisition, which is the same thing. See, recruitment, all of these things. So the point is that you put in whatever the term is, and then you can deep sea fish into their contacts. So Tim, if you're first level LinkedIn with, Frank, right? He's another budget guy. You go into his LinkedIn, start searching around. And what do you do then? Once you do that search, call Frank. Hey, buddy, because he's your buddy, right? Hey, would you mind jumping on a Zoom with me? I'd like to do some intentional networking with you. Then you share your screen, you pull up what you found in his LinkedIn, his first levels, and say, hey, I was looking through your LinkedIn contacts and I noticed these people who I'd like to meet. Would you mind brokering an introduction? And you can ask him, does he know those people well enough in order to make that intro? Does that make sense? So that's a very intentional way of finding your fish, in addition to going to the coffee shop. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Just be focus, focus, focus. Who are your people? Where do they fish? Where do they swim?
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura Hamilton's a good one for me. I'm a first level contact with her because that's Booz Allen. That's the most likely place I'd end up.
Great.
Yeah.
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 Cool. Hope that helps. Molly, what can we answer for you?
Okay, so here, let me just go. Um, so I'm pretty much just getting started. I was a stay-at-home mom for like 15 years, and I'm 38 now, and I just got admitted into the Lorraine Community College. I went through all of the admissions for that. And I was approved for financial aid. The courses they have there are, I'm not really sure that I want anything from there. I'm interested in, I work at an acupuncture clinic. I've been there for 4 years. And I'm interested in healing and holistic health, meditation, nutrition, mental health, physical health, just not like Western healthcare, like being an RN. But I don't know, maybe if an RN could put me in a place that's not the typical medical field, more of like a holistic medical field. I'm just kind of lost on where to go. I've looked around different websites that say they give you accreditation, but is it worth doing? And is it true? I don't know.
So Molly, for this, here's what I'm going to offer you. So Vern and I both offer free 30-minute consultations. So I think what you need is probably a little bit more of an offline conversation to help with a little bit of career direction, if that's helpful, right? More so than on our public call, because we want to be able to be more specific to your needs. So I'm going to go ahead, Vern, if you want to.
I've already put
okay, great.
I put my email address in the chat. So
okay. So I'm putting mine as well. All right. So Molly, if you'd like to reach out to both of us, we can provide a little bit of time for you to help you out a little bit.
And just
Okay,
a real quick, Molly. So again, this is what happens. So this is another important thing that we try to get people to understand when we're working with them at Context Count. So you made a choice today to come on to the call, right? because
Mm-hmm.
you have an objective, you have a goal. So first of all, congratulations for making the choice to begin with, right? To get here, okay? So
Thank you.
so here's so here's again one of the powers of networking and making those kind of choices. My wife actually has spent some time in the type of fields that you're looking into. Now I don't know that she can help you right now because it's been a long time that she's worked there, but I have some familiarity with Eastern medicine and acupuncture and non-traditional healing, methods. And so again, I may or may not be of help to you, but am I right? And so, like Shira said, get on our calendars and we'll do what we can to help you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to throw myself out there and see
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
can
Networking is
correspond.
important. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
again, even like what we were suggesting with Tim, so Molly, as you are networking, generic groups like this are certainly fine, right? Because you never know who you're going to meet. You didn't know you'd meet Vern, right? But to the extent that you can find communities of people who are in your fish pond or doing that work. So if you can continue, I'm guessing you might already do this since you found us a meetup, right? Find people who are already playing in that space, even if they're not job seekers, but they're in the community, they might
Deal.
be able to give you very specific advice about how to enter that community.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mhm. Yeah, when you were talking to the other guy, I wrote notes down and that was helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look up the email and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Molly.
Yeah.
All right, Martin and Antonella. It seems like you're new with us. Would you mind opening up your video and your mic and share with us who you are and how we can help you?
Good morning.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Oh, I think this is not somebody that we. All right, Antonella, can you share with us who you are and how we can help?
Yes. Hi, good morning. Happy New Year,
Happy
everyone.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm Antoniela. Yes, I guess this is the first time I joined these meetings. Well, I am looking for a job. Last year, I spent a lot of time doing it with no success. And this is the year that I started changing a strategy or adjusting, review what the things that didn't work, how the market is changing, and looking for help and advice from people that are both walking my same journey and also is on the other side from recruiters or are having interviews. What is out there that I am not seeing? Then that can help me to build my strategy. And at the same time, is I can share from my experience with all of you. Well, I am happy to do it.
Can you share with us what kind of job you're looking for?
I'm an IT project manager, and that is what I want to continue doing.
Okay.
Information technology, project management.
Okay. What sector have you been in?
I don't have experience here in USA. I
Okay.
am Colombian. I moved here and I was working with a multilateral development organization,
Okay.
which is like the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund.
Okay.
So I don't have experience here. I have been applying to companies in the field of services or technology integrators,
Okay.
to the bank because I have also a solid background in cybersecurity. So I have submitted an application to Capital One, Freddie Mac, and other small banks.
Okay.
Uh,
Got it.
but I would like technology integrators, like the main sector. Uh, um, and yeah, that's it.
How is your network? Do you live here in the States?
Yes, I live in Virginia, Northern
Okay.
Virginia.
Okay, great. Do you have a network of people who are in your space?
Yeah, I have been attending, well, I have been increasing my network by attending as much as possible cybersecurity conference in person
Good,
event
good,
that have helped me to increase my network,
good,
with companies, also with colleagues or consultants that
good,
work in that area,
good,
as well as IT information project managers, consultants.
good.
uh, I am a member of the Project Management
I
Institute.
was about
That
to ask
also.
you, I was about to ask you if you're a member of
Yeah.
PMI. Okay, good.
Yeah. The thing is, I am not a member of any chapter. That is something that I am looking forward to do this year.
Yeah.
But I am a member of the ISACA organization, and I'm also volunteering with ISACA,
Okay, good. So
helping with organizing the events,
good.
which
Because I
is
would
also
recommend that you join the DC chapter of
the DC
PMI.
chapter
Yes,
for PMI.
it's a big chapter. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Because
Yeah.
this is the town we're in, is a lot of project managers and a lot of IT companies. So I think they could be very helpful to you. But this is exactly what we were sharing with, I'm sorry, before you got on, Tim was asking about networking. So today's apparently a networking conversation. And we were talking about connecting with associations. This is exactly the kind of thing that we're talking about, right? Because you're going to be, you're going to be speaking with people who speak your language, your professional
hmm
language, right?
hmm
They understand what you do. They get the jargon. They're going to hear about opportunities potentially for you. We want to invite you to lean into that. Go swim. Go swim with
Okay.
those fish. Really, I'm glad that you're a member of ISACA and then you're going to be a member get involved with PMI. There's another group that's tangential to you. It's called ASIS. If you go to asisonline.org, these are security professionals, okay, who think of like the chief security officer, that kind of thing. However,
hmm
there is a cybersecurity element to the physical security. So this is an international association of security professionals who are mostly physical security, but the cybersecurity flows into that. Okay. Um,
AS,
a,
AS.
A is an apple, S is in Sam, I is in igloo, S is in Sam.
Okay, okay.
ASIS. ASIS.
Assist.
So it's
Okay.
asisonline.org. It's an
Okay, I
international
got it.
association,
I got it.
and
We
they're
make the world
chapters,
more secure. Okay, got
right?
it.
There are chapters all over the world, literally, including, I believe, here in DC. And
Yes.
I would lean into that and find the cybersecurity professionals that you might be able to network with.
Okay, great. Another pillar that I am working or I started to develop last year was artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
I started with learning how to apply or use artificial intelligence into practical use case, let's say integration into the project management practice.
Mm-hmm.
And now I am preparing the certification for project management for artificial intelligence projects, which I guess this also is gonna give me more options or expand my toolkit or resources to
Yeah.
apply. Okay, thank you.
And then the last thing I'll share, which I had shared with Tim earlier, is that you also want to go on LinkedIn, and in the
Mm-hmm.
search bar in the upper left-hand corner, you want to type in the type of work you do. So you could say project management, cybersecurity, even people who like CISSP, right? Because of course that's the certification a lot of cyber people get. And look for people who do what you do, because those are the people who will hear about opportunities that are not right for them, but could be right for you. So definitely lean into LinkedIn's database for that. Okay.
Okay, so look for the people that do
Do
what
what
I
you
am
do.
looking
Do
to.
exactly what you do, because they are your colleagues, right? They are the people who understand you and hear about the right opportunities.
Perfect. This is awesome. Thank you.
Good. Well, you're welcome here. Thanks for joining us. And Vicky, can we answer any questions for you? Vicky, are you still with us? Okay,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay.
Um,
Can you share with us what you do and any questions we can answer for you?
I come here from China and I did my master degree in the United Kingdom and my bachelor degree in Canada.
Mhm.
And I have some work experience in investment banking in China before for about 6 years. So, do you think is it possible to find a job here?
Do you live in the United States?
Yeah,
Okay. Are you here in the DC metro area?
in Charlotte.
Did you say you're in Charlotte,
Yeah, in
North
Charlotte.
Carolina?
Yeah,
Oh, got it. Okay. Oh, right, because you're of course, in Charlotte, there's a lot of banks, right?
yeah.
Okay. And how are you doing your job search?
I just started on LinkedIn and found some job and then applied.
Do you have a network within the banking community?
Yeah, yes, my husband is working in the bank, we do the different things, I think.
You say your husband is also working in banking?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, got it. So Vern and I are both familiar with the American Bankers Association. And Vern, do you know that they have chapters? As
They
far-
have they have they have state associations.
which
I
would
don't,
mean that they would have
in other
that,
words, the
yeah.
American Bankers Association covers all banks in the United States, but like North Carolina, there's a Bankers Association
Association
for
for
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina, which means they
Right.
would have some sort of meetings, right?
Yep.
So Vicky, we would encourage you to look up the American Bankers Association,
Okay,
which is
thank
a
you.
national organization, but they have, as Vern was sharing, state associations. So you might want to also look up the North Carolina Bankers
Okay,
Association and
Yeah.
see
okay,
if they have meetings, networking meetings that you can go and attend to meet people,
okay,
right? Because that's all we've been talking about today for whatever reason is all about networking, right? Is finding the people who do what you do.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, they should
Yeah.
be able to be helpful to you. Speaking
Okay,
of which, Mark is in that world.
Yeah.
Um, Mark is in the banking world.
And
Um, and
the
maybe
other,
Mark, I don't know if it's possible if there are connections that you have that might be good for Vicky. Maybe you may
Yeah.
want to have a
Uh,
conversation with her.
Vicky, I've put my name and contact information in the chat.
okay,
So why don't we plan to get in contact, outside of the meeting?
okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay. Well, today's been a big networking day. That's good. We
yeah.
always like to talk about that. All right. Are there any other topics that we can address for all of you in the job search process? I'll just throw out a topic that is something that is I do try to train people on in my career coaching practice, and that is how do you screen an opportunity for yourself? When you look at a job description, right? Most people, because we're all human, we tend to fall under something that psychologists would call selective perception. In other words, we see what we want to see, and we don't see what we don't want to see. I like to call it bullet number 5 syndrome. In other words, you look at bullet number 5, and all of a sudden you say, "Oh, that's my job." Meanwhile, you're not seeing what the rest of the job is. And this happens all the time. I have been coaching for 15 years, and I am telling you, it is across the board. I've had CEOs do this. I've had executive assistants do this. I've seen everybody do this. This is the most common thing. Part of the issue, I think, is the way the job descriptions are written. but a lot of it has to do with how do we see the opportunity. What I want to recommend to everyone is a couple of things. Number one, you want to first make sure that you are qualified before even making sure that you're interested. The employer wants to make sure you're qualified. You need to then make sure that you're interested. Don't do it in the reverse. If you start with, am I interested? Then you're going to end up falling more into the selective perception. Then you're going to see what you want to see. If, however, you go first after qualifications, do I have what they need? Checkbox. Then you can look and see, oh, is this something that's interesting to me? So let me give you an example. When you're doing a search on Amazon for anything, a product, right? My analogy is that you're looking for an energy efficient refrigerator. Okay. You're not just going to type in energy efficient into Amazon. That would give you every appliance under the sun. First, you make sure that's the first requirement. Is it a refrigerator? Okay. Now, is it a 2-door with a freezer on the bottom? Check, check, check. Basic requirements. Then only then do you go underneath and look at the reviews and look at the product specifications and say, oh, is it energy efficient? Da, 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 da. Is it what I want? First, is it what I need? Then is it what I want? First, am I what the employer needs? Then are they what I want? Look at the qualification section. The first several bullets are going to be the things that you need to look at. And let me say, and this I know sounds funny to say it this way, but when an employer says this such and such a skill or such and such industry experience is ready, preferred, they don't mean nice to have. They actually mean that they're going to give priority consideration to the people who have that thing. Please know that. Priority consideration. Now, I'm not saying you can't apply, but if you do apply, when they say such and such is preferred or even strongly preferred, it means that those are the people who are going to get vetted first. And you may not hear from that employer. This is all about managing your expectations. So it's a free country. You can apply to whatever you want to apply to, but know that that's how they're going to be vetting. Are you qualified based upon the unicorn requirements that they have? Because remember, they are trying to mitigate their risk. Be it the sector that you come from, the skill sets that you have, even the years of experience that you have, whatever it is, please look at the first few bullets of the qualification section before considering applying. Okay. Second thing is go to the summary section and then the first several bullets of the responsibility section for two purposes. A, again, look at what they really want from you, but then also now put on your own lens, do I want this role? So I'll give you an example. So years ago, I was working with a woman and she was in the branding world. She helps organizations to improve their brand, okay? But she was very clear. She was a coaching client, and she was very clear with me. Shira, I don't want a job that has a lot of media relations. Very clear. Just didn't want that kind of work. Okay, fine. But if you might understand this world of communications and marketing, there's sort of a lot of flow there. Like there's one sort of flows into the other. In her mind, she saw this job description and she thought, oh, got some branding. But actually what she didn't see is that a huge chunk of the job was media relations. She literally didn't even see it because her mind was caught up with the few little branding words that I think that she saw. And so she sent it to me. She says, Shira, do you think I should apply? I took a quick look. I'm like, nope. Did you notice bullet, blah, 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 blah? She goes, oh, I didn't even see it. This is the reason why I'm making such a big deal of this is because as human, I'm sure if I were a job seeker, I'd do the same thing. We all would do it. This is how our brains work. You've got to really, really read what it's actually saying. Be a forensic detective. Really try to understand it. Also look at the level of the role. If you're trying to step down a level just because you want to sort of get in there, that's not good for the employer. The employer is like, hey, you're going to be a flight risk. You're going to be taking this job just because you want something else. We want you to be in the job for a long time. Okay. Look at the level, look at the sectoral experience, look at the skill set, look at the industry, look at all of these things, and then determine, am I qualified? Am I interested? Am I going to mitigate their risk and be the right level? Is it the kind of work that I want to do, that I'm capable of doing? Does this make sense? Really look at it before applying. Then it's going to be better use of your time and, of course, their time as well. Is that helpful? Really analyze the thing. All right. Any other thoughts? Oh, Antonella.
Okay, yeah, thank you for mentioning this because one of the things that I also trying to do is apply it to entry-level jobs because as I mentioned before, I don't have kind of experience here in USA market, job market is different. So I was recommended like just apply to entry-level job, then you can have an open door. Once being inside, then you can start to maybe escalate or move. What is the word that pivot into something?
So,
But yeah, maybe that is the reason I am not even being
I-
called because as much as I try to tweak my resume, yeah, they go to LinkedIn and there is my experience.
You're not, yeah,
20 years.
You're not an entry level person. So I actually
20 years of experience.
Right.
So
right. So I actually, even though I understand why you were doing that because of your country experience, I actually would recommend you go to the level that is appropriate for you, especially in the global market that we are today. I think more employers are open to people who have different kinds of experience in different parts of the world. I recommend you go right to the level that's appropriate for you because that's going to tell the employer she's qualified for this work. And sure, they might want US experience, but they might be completely open to where you've come from. So I think that's a much better route for you. You don't want to have to lessen, right, your experience, because the other thing too is if you try to go for an entry level, they're going to say to themselves, why would she want this? She's only going to be in the job for 3 months until she wants something else. Try to go at the appropriate level, not too high, not too low, kind of right here. That makes sense?
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, makes sense.
For sure. Good. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, the level is so important to an employer because they don't want you to be bored in the job, right?
Yeah.
They don't want you to be bored. They want you to be challenged appropriately, not too challenged, not where you're going to have, too big of a learning curve, but also where you're not going to be, not challenged enough. They kind of I don't know if you know the story, the child story about Goldilocks. But Goldilocks, there was porridge, right? We want the one that's just right. The temperature that's just right for you, not too high, not too low, just right in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, and setting clear expectation about what you're looking for and what kind of give or bring to the company.
That's exactly right. That's right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up. Anything else? Vern, are there any other tips that because I know you do coaching as well. Anything that's you'd like to, any little tips you want to share?
Well, the one tip that I would share is, and this goes back to, everything we were talking about networking. And Tim, you were saying, well, how do I start? And, how do I get out there? So one of the most common questions that people ask, when you're out there networking is, well, Tim, tell me what you do. And Tim, you can say, well, I'm a budget analyst and, I've done a lot of big budgets and whatever you would say. And typically that's kind of a missed opportunity because basically you've told them kind of what you do or what your title was. And the way to reframe that, and again, if you remember, I said it's about teaching and giving. So this what do you do question is an opportunity for you to teach someone something about what you do, and not only what you do, but how well you do it. So, and I'm going to make this up as we go along, Tim and Antonella, feel free to, if you want to email me with a draft of how you would answer the what do you do question, I'm happy to give you some feedback on it. But Tim, in your case, you would say, I make sense of the numbers in large organizations. And most recently, I worked at whatever federal agency you work with and give an example of how you use your skills to minimize costs, save money, manage the budget. So it's a two-sentence response. So let me give you one example from my world. If you ask me what do I do, I could say I'm the president and CEO of Contacts Count, which is what a lot of people do. They give their title, they give their company, right? Listen to the difference. I teach people the skills and behaviors to build trust-based, mutually beneficial relationships. I just finished a program with a CEO where he said this was the best networking event he ever attended. So you're teaching somebody, and if you've come up with a great response, the other person then may say, "Well, Tim, tell me more." And now they're inviting you to tell them more about who you are and what you do. And so this is the teaching part of networking. And the more you teach, the greater likelihood somebody might be able to help you in some way. Refer you to a person, best case, they refer you to an actual opportunity. Um, but again, I said it's about teaching and giving. So make sure that in that conversation, it's not a one-way street. You talk for, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes and then you say, well, thanks a lot and leave. You've got to ask them. So tell me a little bit about you. What do you do? And see if you can learn something about them. And maybe you can help them in some way. So,
That helpful?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that. You and I met up at Career Connections a month or two ago. I'm
Okay.
trying to work that
Okay.
out a little bit.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Well,
sorry,
again,
Career Confidence.
yeah. Well, again, it's a very different way for people, and most people do struggle to finally. It takes practice. It's really a skill. Think about riding a bike. When you rode first time you rode a bike, right? You fell off the bike, right? You got up and you kept going until you learned how to ride the bike. So, but the more comfortable you can get in those conversations where it's teaching and giving. The logic is the more I know about you and the more you know about me, the greater likelihood we can help each other in some way. It might be as simple as, sending an article that I'm interested in, or it might be as powerful as Tim, I just heard about an opportunity that's right for you, and I can introduce you to the hiring manager.
That's right. You never know.
Yeah.
But you got to let everybody know, right?
Oh,
On the one
that's
hand, you
right.
got to go after a fish pound, but then you got to let everybody know.
Yeah.
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 Because you never know who knows people. That's the power even of LinkedIn, right? You're first, they're second. Everybody's got this expanded network all over the
Yeah.
place. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, friends, we're kind of coming to time here. Any other last minute questions we can address?
Hey, Shira, I'd
Yes.
like to try to get a couple of minutes with you because I know ABA, I know Eric. I've been to IBIE this year and BEMA. I'm sorry, last year in 2025.
Oh, really? You're in that world, huh?
So I've been to BEMA and IBIE.
Okay, great. Love it.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
happy to.
And I know the chair.
Terrific. And by the way, Vern, he's talking about the American Bakers Association. That's the search I'm doing for the VP of
oh,
Finance, not the other
oh,
ABA.
yeah, the other ABA. Okay.
They're the two
I was just going to say,
ABAs.
I was just going to jump in and say, yeah, I know a few
No, no,
things
no.
about ABA.
Different. It's a different one. Yeah, Tim,
Yeah.
please do. In fact, you know what? Any chance that you are available right after this call for a few minutes?
I could make myself available for that.
Thank you. Let me
Amazing.
amazing. I'm gonna put my phone number in here if you just want to give me a call.
Sure. I'm going to send the message that I have as is. It's not finished.
Okay. But I just put my phone number in there if you want to give me a call right after we're done.
Sure.
Okay, great. So I'm going to actually wrap up the formal part of this call, but I'm going to stay on the call now for a short prayer call for those of you who'd like to join me. So Tim, right after that is done, you're welcome to call and we can chat. Okay. So I'm going to end